Hello everyone, welcome to Karma Education. This channel has a target to cover the whole syllabus of UGC NET Education subject paper 2 only. We have started with unit 2 and it is already completed, and now we are going to start unit 1 educational studies, subunit A. In subunit A, Sankhya, Yoga and Vedanta, these three schools of philosophy we have completed long before. In this video, I will discuss about Buddhism. Okay. Now starts with the concept of Buddhism. Siddhartha Gautam was the born name of Lord Buddha, and he was a Kshatriya prince of Shakya kingdom of Lumbini. Lumbini is in now Nepal. Buddha, the most familiar name of Siddhartha Gautam, which means awakened one or enlightened one. Revolt child of Hinduism is also another name of Buddha, because he observed some irrational date practices in Hinduism at that time, and he always wanted to bring some changes in it. Religion without God is the main concept of Buddhism. Gautam Buddha was mainly concerned about the sorrows of life, problems of life. Metaphysical subjects means which are beyond the philosophy, beyond the real life, metaphysical concepts. These were unethical to him. Why? Because he didn't find any connection in between metaphysical subjects with a reality of life, problems of life. He used to discuss the most important questions of suffering. What are the causes behind the suffering or sorrows of our life? Its cessation, how to end up this suffering of life, and the path which will lead us to its cessation. So these are the entire concept of Buddhism. And the three main concepts of Buddhism are give up Brahmanical rituals. At that time it was very essential as per Gautam Buddha. Give up or end up the Brahmanical rituals. Then asceticism means give up all worldly attachment, and nihilistic concept. Another important aspect of Buddhism, nihilistic concept, means nothing is permanent. According to Buddhism, nothing is permanent. Everything is changing in dynamic way. Okay. Now the principles of Buddhism. Impermanence of existence. According to Buddhist philosophy, existence is temporary. Impermanence of existence is most important principle of Buddhism. Next is ignorance leads to sufferings and bondage. Because of our unconsciousness, ignorance, we suffer and we tie up with the bondage in our life. Karma is born out of ignorance. According to Buddhist philosophy, karmic impressions are carried out from this birth to the next birth. This means the present conditions of life are the results of the past karma. Every thought, word, action of the past existence has a bearing on the present existence. Doctrine of non-self or anatta. Buddhist philosophy doesn't accept the soul or atman as permanent entity. There is no permanent atma or soul in Buddhism. Right? It is very important principle. Nirvana, salvation. To achieve liberation from suffering through the renunciation or give up of desire. This is the state of nirvana or salvation. Nirvana is the state of total freedom. No suffering, with perfect knowledge, perfect peace, and perfect wisdom, and free from all bondage. This state is called nirvana. So this is the principles of Buddhism. Four noble truths. Noble truths or Arya Satya is just a realization which obtained by Lord Buddha during his enlightenment, and he taught these to his followers. These are the truth of suffering, dukkha. Existence is associated with suffering. Existence, it may be in animate or inanimate or inanimate things. Every existence is associated with suffering. Next, the truth of the origin of suffering, samudaya. Every suffering has a cause. Then, the truth of cessation of suffering, nirodha. Suffering can be eliminated if the cause is eliminated. Right. Next is the truth of the path to the cessation of suffering, marg. There is a path to nirvana which puts an end to all suffering. So these are four noble truths of Buddhism. The Eightfold Path to Nirvana. After the great realization of Arya Satya, Lord Buddha also suggested eightfold path towards nirvana or salvation or total freedom. These are Samyak Drishti or right vision, Samyak Sankalpa means right determination or thought, Samyak Vakya right speech, Samyak Karmanta right action, Samyak Ajiva right livelihood or right conduct, Samyak Vyayama right effort, Samyak Smriti right memory, Samyak Samadhi or right concentration. So this eightfold path leads us to get nirvana or total freedom. Now, the classification of Buddhist school. It is broadly divided into two schools, that is Hinayana, the lesser vehicle of Theravada, and Mahayana or universalist or the greater vehicle. Individual salvation, individual freedom through self-discipline and meditation is the main belief of Hinayana or lesser vehicle school of Buddhism, whereas salvation for all through the grace and help of Buddha is the belief of Mahayana school. Hinayana school didn't believe in idol worship. They believed in original teaching of Buddha. Whereas in Mahayana school, idol worship is granted. Hinayana school is known as Southern Buddhist religion as they spread in the southern India. Whereas Mahayana school is known as Northern Buddhist religion. Hinayana school favored Pali language, whereas Mahayana school favored Sanskrit language. And lastly, Hinayana is divided into two sects, that is Vaibhashika and Shautantrika. Now we will discuss some related topic of Buddhism from the pages of history. Dharma Chakra Pravartana means turning of wheel of law or change of law. Dharma Chakra Pravartana was delivered by Lord Buddha to his first sermon or first religious speech at Sarnath to his 5 disciples. This is known as Dharma Chakra Pravartana. We can know about Buddhism in different parts of India from two famous Chinese pilgrims, Fahian and Huensang. Fahian visited India at the time of Gupta ruler, and we can know about Buddhism at that time. And from Huensang, we can know about the spread of Buddhism in different parts of India at the time of Kanauj Emperor, Harshvardhan. And then Maurya Emperor Ashoka expanded Buddhism within India and abroad for the first time. He sent Buddhist missions to his Tamil, Ceylonese neighbor and some far off land, means Malay, Sumatra, Egypt, Syria, Macedonia, etc. And there is a huge controversy regarding the exact birth time of Lord Buddha, but more or less the entire Buddhism period is within the 600 BC to 1200 AD. Next is Tripitaka or triple basket. Pitaka means basket. It was called Pitaka because the original texts were written on palm leaves and kept in baskets. Tripitaka is basically a collection of ancient Buddhist scriptures. Right? Three Pitakas are known as Tripitaka or triple basket. These are Sutta Pitaka, which is related with Buddha's sayings. Vinaya Pitaka is related with monastic code, and Abhidhamma Pitaka is related with religious discourse of Buddha. Now we are going to discuss about another important concept of Buddhism, that is four sides. What are the four sides? Siddhartha Gautam was a prince and also a family man. But also at the age of 29, he convinced his chariot driver Chana to take him out of the palace to the city to observe the reality of life. There he encountered the four sides. These are an old man, a sick person, a dead body, and an ascetic man or holy man. These four sides forced him to find out the root cause of suffering, and then he started his salvation, or you can say the struggle to find out the truth behind the cause of sorrow or problems of life. Right? Educational aim of Buddhism is focused on social development, vocational development, how to gain knowledge, pure knowledge, religious development, character development. These are mainly to follow the moral values of Buddhist religion. Particularly Buddhist religion, you have to follow as a student to moral values of Buddhist religion. Then to adopt good conduct and non-violence, the two wings of Buddhism. To eradicate Vedic rituals and caste system. At that time, it becomes so essential to break the caste system. Then to give up sacrifices for achieving knowledge. According to Lord Buddha, it is not necessary to gain knowledge that you need to sacrifice. So that's why in aim of education in Buddhism, it is another important thing that to give up sacrifice for achieving knowledge. Then to provide education in the language of masses. Language of masses at that time was Pali language. To emphasize the progress and development of society rather than the individual. So it was focused on development of mass or development of society rather than individual development. And finally, to achieve nirvana or salvation, total freedom. So these are the aims of education according to Buddhism. Methods of teaching according to Buddhism. Teaching method is mainly Bharwal, and priority is given to question answer method, discussion and debate. Agra Shishya Pranali, monitorial system. In monitorial system, one teacher gives instruction to large number of pupils. This is known as monitorial system or Agra Shishya Pranali. Traveling and nature study method, preaching and conferencing method, are the another important method of teaching in Buddhism. Mass language should be the medium of instruction. Next is education system. Two-tier education system can be observed in Buddhism: elementary education and higher education. Elementary education. Elementary education was religious in nature, included worldly education up to age of 12 years. Pupils received instruction in reading, writing, arithmetic and religion. Curriculum of elementary education: thorough learning of grammar, Hetu Vidya or logic, Nyaya, science of reasoning, arts and crafts, Chikitsa Vidya or medicine. Then higher education. Higher education was well organized and carried out at Buddhist monasteries and Buddhist universities. And it is provided to only those students who wanted to be monks or nuns. Emphasis was given to both theoretical and practical aspects. The curriculum includes Buddhism, Hinduism, philosophy, metaphysics, logic, Sanskrit, Pali languages, astronomy, medicine, law, politics for higher education. Discipline. In terms of discipline, they are very strict. Discipline, meditation, wisdom, these three are the main things of Buddhism. Discipline and meditation works like two wings to achieve wisdom. Simple living and high thinking is the key principle of Buddhism. After getting education in the Buddhist schools, one cannot do any injustice, tell a lie, commit theft, cannot kill, cannot be addicted in wine, etc. Buddhism leads towards purity of life, dutifulness, and follow the Ashtanga Marg or Four Noble Truths. Teacher-taught relationship. Teacher-taught relation is close and affectionate in Buddhism. Teachers loved the students and helped them in every affair. They also took care of them during their diseases and agony. Besides being a scholar, a teacher must have inspiring ideas. The teacher was regarded as spiritual father or intellectual father of the student. Like student, teacher also follows celibacy, constant study, simple living and strength of character. Because both the teacher and student were responsible to the Buddhist order. Students have freedom of thought. Both teacher and student maintains discipline in matter of morals and conduct. Now, finally, educational implications of Buddhist philosophy. First of all, cosmopolitan. There is no caste creed system in Buddhism. People from anywhere of the world can avail Buddhist education. There is no foundation. Personality development. Buddhist education gives emphasis on the physical, mental, and spiritual development of students, which leads a all-round development of a student as well as personality development. No corporal punishment, no physical punishment was allowed in Buddhism. Positivism. They prefer positivist philosophy. It is ethical. Buddhist ethical thoughts allow students to search for their self nature. That's why it is ethical. They allow learners to search for their self nature. Democratic. All disciples in the Buddhist community have equal rights to speech, act, and think without any religious authority, and also respect the human dignity as well as humanity. Development of good conduct. Development of good conduct is most important educational implication of Buddhist philosophy. Moral discipline. Moral discipline is taming bodily and verbal behaviors. So this is the entire concept of Buddhism, the contribution of Buddhist schools of philosophy in education. In the next video, I will discuss Jainism. Okay, so viewers, stay tuned.